panel.
Okay, it's been a while.
Hey, I haven't made it in quite a while.
You guys do realize I'm charging $10 a head for this, right? It was free up until about 30 seconds ago, but
You realize I don't have a debit card, so I'll find out.
hey, I'll tell you what, I can go find you a swiper real quick.
Don't run check. Mine's the old style.
Because, you know, I don't get an allowance anymore.
The old style. Yeah, great. Nobody won't sell you.
Send to you, Jack. It's kind of interesting. You tell everybody you're on your own after today. Look, we got to turn on the crowd. So, folks, there's been a lot that's gone down here in the last couple of weeks. And I've made a lot of comments publicly and behind the scenes that a lot of people are aware of the events that went down. I am not disappearing from the DMR and radio world. I will be dropping back and not playing as much as a role. Those of you that have messed with code plugs can just imagine what it's like to maintain the code plugs for 6 different manufacturers, which I have done for over a year. I have to slow down. Okay? Plus, Bob also called me after all this went down. He goes, "You're not going to leave me hanging out to dry, are you?" So when my cohort at the BYRG is asking for help, I can't do it. Okay, one thing I would really like, and I'm going to do it myself. Who has one of these? Guess what? Can I ask you to put them on mute so we can rock through this? And for those of you that haven't figured out yet, that haven't had the pleasure of meeting me, my oh-so-graceful demeanor, I'm Chuck, Keyser XM from the Backyard Computer Group. Okay, everybody's got a laptop, fire them up, if you would. First thing I'm going to have you do is read your radio and save your code plug before we do anything, because we are building from scratch, folks. You're going to clean your radio to a virgin, brand new out of the box state. See me chewing a lot of gum. It's, for those of you that know, it's because I quit smoking in March. Stock at RJ Reynolds went down. Trident stock has gone through the roof. So there's your investment advice for today. I will be running a PowerPoint up here. If I need to switch to a CPS screen, I will do it. Towards the end of this, we will discuss Tom's software. Tom is supposed to grace us with his presence. If you do not know of Tom's software, learn about it. How many people, like me, by a show of hands, says this stuff is the cat's meow to help you with programming DMR? It makes life so simple, and he is keeping it up. The only radio on the market he does not have in it is Motorola's or this. Now, what the hell is that, Chuck Cole? This is the Anytone dual bander from Connect Systems. Okay? We'll talk about it after the class if anybody's interested. Until then, Dan's not carrying them. I'm not going to cut Dan. And let me do this. I'll turn off the green. While my computer's still booting up. evidently Tom is riding his bicycle in, so when he comes in, let's have some fun, and everybody stay away from him like he smells, okay? Where's Brad?
Right here.
I was gonna say, I just locked it up where it wouldn't even power down.
Uh-oh. You know the magnet cells, right?
Yeah, pull battery.
That may not bring it out.
We need him to have assign a button to it so that you can turn the sub channel on and off. Okay. Anyway, all right. Laptops are fired up. Radios are plugged in. Did everybody get a boink tone from their radio when they plugged into it? Did Windows recognize your radio? Yes or no? Who is not talking to their laptop right now, or radio right now?
How do you know?
When you plug it in, if you have your volume up on your radio, on your computer, it'll give you a boink. It'll let you know that you plugged something into a USB port. Your radio has to be on. Now understand, I've seen a ton of things. Majority of radios in here are the Titeras, correct? Yep. How many Connect systems do we have? Dennis? Okay. Connect systems is similar. Okay, we don't have any Motorola's in here, correct? All right. On the Titeras, on the MD380s, 390s, and the 2017s, there are no electronics in the cables. The driver talks to the radio itself. So if you just plug your radio cable in, you won't hear squat, because it's like plugging in a speaker or a microphone cable with nothing on the other end. Okay?
So check.
Yes?
Install driver software.
Okay.
Windows, yeah.
We're going to get you on the net to install it. Let me find my hotspot. Okay.
Let's use mine. I'm a Verizon employee. I have unlimited.
Let's use the Verizon employees unlimited node. Which this is a Verizon hotspot through my employer.
I was there.
Okay, if you guys need access to the internet, he will give you the password to his node in a moment here.
Okay, I'm myself. All right, look for Kevin Vanderhoose's iPhone. Password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Not password.
Well, you know, I dumbed it down for the audience.
Yeah.
If not, I hate my job.
I tried to make it, you know, it looks like a frequency.
312, number 3.
And I think I just saw it there. So I'm trying. There you go.
I sure hope you can handle more than 15 connections.
There's only one so far.
Find out.
I just got on the library. Look, we're up to 2.
I got public library.
The library.
Library's on too. The library.
Okay, anybody else have trouble plugging into their radio and talking to it? Why did I know you were going to do that?
Just me, no?
All right.
We got the cat, yeah.
Well, the tech is the same as an MD380.
Okay, so what are we supposed to be trying to, what are we using the M0 GSG?
No. Tom software comes into play after you're done reading with the code plug. So if you're running Tom software at this point, shut it down. You need to go into the CPS, the Titera, or the Tech software, the programs are in.
Also have way to download that software. Good. Tech software, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, if you haven't already. Yeah, Tom software is an external manipulator.
What was this name? Tech software?
Actually, yeah, there you go. I love how everybody in this group is coming together to help everyone else out. Wayne, what do you got?
It says device driver software is not successfully installed.
Okay, did you get yours to him? All right. Here.
Yeah, that's the one.
Why are you?
Should say CPS.
Connected on the net now. See what happens. Yes, we know you learned your right on time. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. N0GSG, you're welcome to thank him for his software. Okay. This is operating a lot faster than the
That says that everybody should avoid you, you smell.
There you go.
Hey Chuck, you were right.
He stinks? That bad, huh? That's right, he's a hell of a software coder. I think we can give him a improve, right?
Well, you know, in one more day, I can take my monthly bath again, so.
But today is Saturday.
Yeah, it's usually Sunday, so.
So.
All right. Now, we should be ready to go. All right. Who is not talking to your radio yet?
Mine's 9%.
Okay, if you guys could, open up control panel and go to device manager real quick as I'm walking around the room. We'll see if we can get you guys straightened out. Wayne, what'd you come up with? It's searching. Who else is Keith's having problems?
Yeah, we're still having problems.
Should have brought my roller skates. All right. Let me get attention.
We're looking for device manager.
Right. Third system.
It will be on the south side of 97.
Well, that's what I did with Tom software. He wanted me to CSV thing, I put it in a spreadsheet. So I did that on hot groups, all the contact lists, and all available. Yeah, you can see them on the screen, but I would like to have something like the phone was the local repeater here in Michigan, where you can one of them results. And BYRG. I just added it to the ones that I didn't have. They're organic books, they're in there. Code club, but they're not necessarily signed in zone, all it's on zone.
Yeah, on the TYTs, the chip that it talks to, the STFU chip that the software sees is in the radio. Okay, so,
Just playing around with my.
okay, I see a lot of people are up and running. All right, so those of you that are programmed and connected, have you read your code plug? Yes. Okay. Do a file, then save as into CPS. And you're going to save it to a very unique name, and you're going to see where that location is so you can find it after we're done. If you don't know where your file is, I don't know either. It's your computer. I hate to put it to you that way, but we're getting to brass tacks, folks. Okay, the beginning steps here is what we got. Read and save your radio program. You do this every time you plug your radio into your computer. Because if you lose something and you didn't save it, it's gone. And as you all know, this ain't your mommy and daddy's ham radio. You have to be delicate with this program. Hence, this class. Okay? Those of you that have saved your code plug, go into CPS, into the upper left, and click the white box to create a new blank code plug. I'm going to show you what it looks like here, because I'm going to fire up CPS. And so we've got, you know what? I'm going to do the MD 2017 CPS just so you guys can see. All right, here's the CPS. You see this up here? It says new. Click on that. It'll say all data will be cleared. Boom. I've got a blank virgin code plug sitting there ready. Everybody done that so far? Okay. What is the first thing you are going to do after this? Who can answer that question for me? What's the first thing you put into your code plug when you open it up?
ID.
You guys are good. Why am I seeing 999999 on the dashboard still?
That's not somebody from this group, obviously.
Obviously not. Okay. Enter your DMR mark number. At this time, enter your DMR mark number. Who does not have their DMR mark number memorized? Why not? 3120028, folks. Come on. Now, don't ask me my North Carolina one. I don't know it because I never use it. Okay. Okay, so you go to General Settings in the software, which is right there, and look at this in the upper right part of the column. This is Radio ID. You got that? That's where you put your DMR, where it says 1, 2, 3, 4 on the screen. That's where you put your DMR mark number. Once you enter that, what are you going to do? You're going to save this file under another unique name, although you have not put anything in it but your DMR mark number. So let's hit the file save as again. Learn where file and save as is because we're going to be hitting it a lot today. All right? Because if you don't, and something hiccups, there's a lot of good work that's going to just disappear. And next thing you know, you're going to be throwing that $80 radio that you oh so dearly love out the window. Okay? And we're going to try to avoid that today. Okay. The next item you enter is group calls. What is a group call? Who can tell me that? Wow, crickets. A group call is where you want to talk. What is a common group call? Let's use BYRG. So what we're going to do is we're going back to the CPS that you're in, and I'm going to come down here to where it says digital contact. So click on digital contact in the left column. Now you see where it says number 1, contact 1, group call, call ID? See that? We're going to repopulate those right now. So what you're going to do is under contact 1, you're going to highlight that. Under the group name, or contact name. Okay? Type in BYRG. Large letters, small letters, Greek letters, I don't care, just so you know what it is. Okay? Go ahead and have a seat somewhere.
Yeah, I'm waiting for two of them, guys.
Oh, okay. Under call ID, that is the critical part, folks. Right now, it's got the number 1 in there. You want to put in the number of the talk group or the group call that you're going to talk on. In the case of BYRG, which we're going to do everything on BYRG today, it's going to be 31201. Put 31201 in that group or that call ID number. Okay? Now, how many did not do a save as a second ago? Fred, why'd you raise your hand?
I'll practice the next one.
Oh,
Years and I call them.
okay, if I move too fast or somebody's not exactly sure what's going on, stop me. Ask me. Let's get this worked out here today, folks. There are no dumb questions. The dumb question is the one that you sit there and go, damn it, I could have had a VA. No, damn it, I should have asked him while I was in the class. You're in the class, ask, go.
Is there any virtue to disconnecting the radio at this point while you're just populating the database?
No. You can leave it hooked up, you can disconnect it, it's not going to do anything. Hey, man. Did you bring the donuts like we asked? Bill got them?
Yeah, Bill's
Oh,
ready.
okay. Okay, so we've made a group contact with BYRG for 31201. You show that on your screen. Here, I will do this so you guys can see what it'll look like. Hang on, I'm doing it right now. You see under contact name? See the call ID? That's where 31201 goes. Alright? Now, you notice the type of call. It says group call. There are 3 options. One of them is not used in Kansas City. And I'll show you in a second. But your main 2 options are group call and private call. I want to talk to everybody calls or group calls. 90% of the stuff that you're going to do is, 99% of the stuff is going to be a group call. The only exception to that is the parent, which we'll do here in a second. Okay? So here I am with the group call. Now I'm going to click down on this, and you'll see I told you there's 3 different options on this type of call. Group call, private call, and all call. All call doesn't come into play in Kansas City. Ignore it. Forget it. I don't want to hear it. Okay? We just had an incident on BYRG Facebook page, and I had to kick a member because he insisted we need to do like NCPRN and their private C-Bridge network and have it all called. And they also a disconnect function. We don't roll that way. Okay? Wanted to argue about it, and I said, I'm tired of talking to you.
John, is all call like trunking announcement group that it goes out across everything? Or?
I haven't played with it enough. On the C-Bridges, there is a way to set them up.
Yeah.
We are not on a C-Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, what all call does is it will send to any user. So basically when you send the group call, you're sending to this talk group that repeater or system's going to handle, and everybody's normally listening for that. When you send an all call, it's like a broadcast.
You need this as much as anybody.
Everybody in the world.
It's actually, a shot at work.
Well, you made it. Okay. All right. So we got the BYRG group call down in our code book at this point, right? Hit the disk at the upper left. That's going to save it at this point. Like I said, we're going to save a lot of times when we're building this. Okay? Now, we're going to put another call in this contact list. So I have to hit add. This call is going to be called the parent. Okay? But it's going to be different. So you have to pay attention. Perk your ears up, turn up your hearing aids. This is not a group call on Grandmeister. This is a private call. This is a private call to address 9990. So 9990 in the call ID. Okay? And then under call type, what do we keep in a group? All call or private? Thank you. Now, I've created 2 talk groups. One's a private call, one's a group call. Why is the parent a private call? So the rest of us don't want to listen to you guys testing your radios. So it only talks to the Brandmeister server. The interesting thing about Brandmeister, if you do not get functionality on this parent, it tells us 2 things, and only 2 things. Number 1, you're not hitting the repeater strong enough. Reposition. Number 2, if you are stronger than hell into the repeater and you think you are, like if you're a peculiar emission sitting right underneath it, you can't get the parrot, the network's down. I need to know. Okay? Because the parrot does not reside on our repeaters, it resides on Brandmeister in Dallas. If we don't get the parrot, we're not talking to Dallas. Okay? So, once again, hit that nice little floppy disk up there and save that file. That's right. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, did it on our computer.
Okay, double check. Go back up there to BYRG and put in 31201 again. Welcome to Chinese software. 101. Now, I'm going to make this real interesting.
Yeah, click in a different field before you click the save button.
There, we're going to go that way. Is that easier?
Go down and save your parrot again.
Yeah, well. Now, yes, like Tom said, click on a different field. Listen to the guy that codes the software. Okay?
Hey, I didn't write this thing. I don't get tarred and feathers.
Now, has everybody saved their code plug up to this point? We know where it's saved and what name it's under, correct? Who cannot go find their code plug if they needed to right now? We'll find out here in a few minutes. Who actually is going to back that up? Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the zone. Well, where's the channel coming? Patience, young Padawan, it's coming. We have to set the foundation before we build the building. Okay? You're going to go into software to the zone information on the left. Okay? You see that popped up on the left? So everybody click on the zone information. And then select zone 1. Now this is the part about the 2017 that I love. And this is why the code plug that the Backyard Repeater Group produced was a rough code plug. Because this was a pain in the ass to populate. Okay? And if it wasn't populated right, you wouldn't hear anything on the early versions of the firmware. Okay? You notice we have under available channels none, correct? Keep that in mind. Save that in your head. Because we're going to be coming back and it will look different in a few minutes. Okay? So we've created a zone. We'll leave this right now at the default zone. Let's call this the BYRG zone. Okay? And then I'm clicking somewhere else. You notice on the left it changed the zone to BYRG. Has everybody done that? So you know how to rename the zone now. You know how to save it. Guess what? Hit that little floppy disk. Let's save this puppy again. Scan list. At this point in time, you can create it just like a zone. This is the fun part about DMR programming. There's a lot of back and forth, folks. It's not dialing it up, saving it in a scan list, and rolling on. You're going to switch back and forth until you get this thing right. Okay? That's all there is to it. It's just part of it. So at this point in time, you can have the option to create a scan list. We're not going to do it for today's exercise, okay? But just know that it's going to be created exactly like a zone would. And there's more into a scan list, and I'll get into it in a little bit when we get into channel development. Save the code plug once again. All right? Now here comes the real nitty-gritty dirt of it. We're going to actually create a channel from here on out, folks. Yes.
Can you back up one slide for just a second?
You
Please.
know how hard it is to back up a
For
PowerPoint?
you, maybe, I know, yeah. I know.
Go left.
It's Windows, right? That's, yeah. You can turn it off.
All these presentations, I still haven't figured out
How to back up.
how to back up on a damn PowerPoint slide.
Just go left.
Oh, now all the experts pop up.
That was speaking.
You just have to go forward.
All right, here we go. Should have brought my, one of my other two computers, they're a lot faster, or even work computers a lot faster than this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hand it back to him.
All right, anyway, Forrest, what you want?
Never mind, I just found out.
Wait, no. They're all like that, bud.
Yeah, what was, go,
This one's about chocolate.
After,
Women and chocolate.
after the create scan list, I was trying to see your next step.
Save the code plug.
oh,
Yeah, but after that, on your list up there, it just went on to the next thing, I missed it.
yeah, I missed the create scan list.
We're not gonna print one.
We're slow back here.
Working hard enough to know, listen carefully.
We're gonna try it. I think I'm gonna be end up cleaning up this laptop, which is really too late. Really want to get into it. And I don't know who the hell ever thought I'd pour top.
Hidden control.
Anyway,
Control T.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of parameters.
On the
so I
program.
just. Okay, so anyway, now we're gonna get into the channel part of it. Maybe.
Did we create a zone?
Yes, we just created a zone. We used the existing zone, we relabeled it.
Okay, that's all you did was relay one.
But since we don't have any channels created, there's nothing to put in there yet.
Okay, that explains that. That, you just answered my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. Do this. Oh, I don't know.
Just typed it in, that's all I did. Okay, I see. Click on buttons. See.
Now I can see what's going on. I'm sorry, my computer screwed up there, folks. All right, stop me where you want me to, Fred, Forrest.
Keep going. Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
All right, got it.
Okay. Now, in your CPS, we have to create a channel. So we're going to channel information. Let's go to channel 1. Tell me what your CPS says. It is selecting analog and digital in the upper left. Okay, those that do not say digital, down arrow till you get into digital. Mike. Okay.
Just came up default, is that all?
Right. Okay, so I go to digital. Now, digital channels are 12.5 kilohertz bandwidth. Remember that. Live it. Learn it. Pop up on a DMR repeater at 25 kilohertz bandwidth and we will blacklist you in a second. okay? If you can get it functioning. Now, you notice there's a lot of stuff here. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this? We're going to tell you here in a minute. Bandwidth 12.5 kilohertz, scan list. I'll get on to that in a minute here. We're going to create the channel first. We're going to go back to the scan list. Squelch, always leave it normal. Reference frequencies, don't touch. There's no reason. They're from the commercial world. They're for special commercial interest, not associated with ham radio. Timeout timer. Looking around this room, there are some of you that should be set at 10 seconds. Okay? Other ones, I don't care. Let's put them at 180 seconds for 3 minutes. And unless you're talking to a hotspot, folks, okay, the rekey delay, don't worry about it. Leave it at 0. Okay? Your power should be high, unless you're talking to a hotspot or you're right next to the repeater. Doesn't matter, because most likely you're going to have a button on your radio that's going to tell you through your power selections anyway. Now, on the channel name, we're going to do something here at this point. We're going to actually say Mission BYRG, okay? Type that into the channel name. Everybody got that done? Receive frequency 443.10. Transmit frequency 448.10. Now, how many of you are looking at your screen and going, what the hell is admit criteria? Admit criteria is a condition that you have to set in your radio to prevent doubling. Unfortunately, the Titeras do not follow like the standard dictates. You can transmit on top of another person. There is no workaround. They know about it. They don't care. Okay? So, it's been known since Titeras hit the market. I tell everybody on DMR, and all us Johnson County guys that set up 2.9, we have the standard de facto transmit admit criteria at color code. Now what that means is it's color code free, which means that the repeater should let you in as soon as somebody stops talking. Notice the key word in that phrase, should. Titera doesn't give a damn whether it's supposed to or not. But Motorola's, Connect Systems, Anytones do. So you always set your transmit criteria to color code free on any radio, on DMR. Just have it over with, yes.
Is Anytone code word same code?
No. Are you on an Anytone? Ooh, I like you. No. Scroll down.
3 different color tones and color.
Same color tone, that's right. Yeah.
So is the color code for both time slots or just for the time slot that you're on?
No. Color code transgresses time slots.
So if somebody's...
Color code is like PL on an analog repeater. If you don't have the right PL, you're not talking to that repeater. DMR is no different. It doesn't matter which time slot. You still got to have the same color code.
But if somebody's talking on the other time slot that you're on...
Won't matter. They're on the same color code.
And, okay.
They're just on a different time slot. Okay? Let me email you one of my presentations that explain time slots and color code and stuff like that. Okay, auto scan. What's that going to do? That's going to, as soon as you dial your radio to that channel, it's going to take off and scan on whatever scan list it's selected. Is it good? It could be. When we started, auto scan was turned on our first code clubs. And then as we grew, it got to be a pain in the butt. It's not there anymore. Of course, when we started, we had no idea that it was going to be this. okay? We figured there's gonna be a handful of guys playing DMR, okay? Who knew? Okay, receive only means you're gonna lock out transmit. Why would you have a receive only in a DMR handheld?
Commercial freeze.
Exactly. You put in a commercial frequency unless you are authorized to use that frequency, you listen only, which is RX only. Lone worker, that's commercial. That means I'm out there in the middle of nowhere with myself. I usually have a body monitor where if I fall over, it alerts the radio alerts dispatchers. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of flashing red lights around you, hopefully. Okay? VOX, don't use it, don't worry about it. Allow talk around. Doesn't work the way we think. Ignore it. Send GPS info and receiving GPS info. Most of you notice you attend my presentations and my talks, and we've talked about GPS on the Brandmeister and BYRG systems. That is a very gray area. If everybody in this room turned on GPS and they were pulled 30 seconds, I would lose a time slot for all day. Let's not use GPS. You go into a hotspot, I don't care. Peter, I do, because we put it on for multiple users and their enjoyment, not just so you can let the wife know whether you're walking into a strip club or not. Okay? Speaking of strip clubs. Hi, Bill. Okay.
Have I got the right hat on?
Yeah. Emergency systems. Don't worry about it. Now, contact name. Anybody got an idea what's going to go on contact name?
BYRG.
For this talk group, right? Or for this channel, correct? So we're going to select BYRG in the drop-down list. Now, group list or RX group or receive group or whatever is a very hot topic that we are going to discuss. At this point right now, ignore it. I've got a slide later that's going to talk about receive groups and how they are good and bad in both aspects. Yes, it does. Hang on. What, 750, 751. Okay. Give me a minute, folks. I gotta fire up connection. I'm sorry, that's 761. It's not making all the market change. Always got to be one of the group. And he's got a BYRG hat on top of that, which is only one output. Okay. I'm pulling up an old Brian. So. Okay. Yes, it's on the left underneath the receive frequency. This is RX group. Look at the screen.
Now for that, and for that radio, you do not need to fill it in.
All right. Okay. So we've entered the transmit and receive frequencies. How do we get out of this? We've selected our contact name as BYRG. Our group list we'll discuss later. Now, color code dependent on repeaters, correct? Majority of our repeaters here, until Missouri decided to institute a color code chart, has been, color code 1. 95% of the repeaters across the nation on DMR have a color code 1. Missouri has to be special. So, you will find a variety. Published color codes are available on Repeater Book and for our repeaters on BYRG.net. Once you get over the state line, North Kansas City, Independence, Pea Hill, Nevada, Springfield, they're a mix between number 4 and number 5, depending on where they're at in the state. check to find out what the color code is. Don't just randomly throw it in there. There is a fixed color code. Now, here comes the critical part. According to the repeater sysop, who has taken all the most arduous work to decide what talk group goes on what time slot, you have to follow his rules. Brandmeister allows you 700 plus talk groups on both time slots. Do we want you to fire 700 plus talk groups on both time slots? No. You're on blacklist. I'm going to shut you off at the server level. We have to keep an order of decorum. Okay? We have decided at BYRG, with the growth, that there is only one talk group on time slot number 2. And it's pretty much a de facto, non-published standard for a lot of the repeaters across the nation that all local activity is on time slot 2. So BYRG is going to go on what time slot, folks? Very good. So drop 2 into that time slot.
If someone were to happen to key with a different contact thing.
They get a nasty call from
It
me.
would change
Ask
the-
WCRWC.
It would change the repeater though, right?
It would lock that repeater to,
Whatever you.
especially if it's a full-time talk group.
Yeah.
If you brought BYRG up on 1, it would be coming out of both time slots. 1 would eventually time out, praying there's no activity. Okay, you gotta understand, when you fire off a user-activated talk group, you've got a 10-minute window that starts. That's what started all this crap that's causing me to leave. Okay? There's a 10-minute window where that time slot is locked out. That is why I have screamed and yelled and complained about people that want to listen to 3100 while they're driving around town. Number 1, it burns up repeaters. I've actually repaired $1,500 to a repeater because 3100 burned it up before we had a chance to shut it off. Number 2, we lose the time slot. Everybody who wants to play on time slot 1 can't. My phone and my email blew up that night. That's what happened. So you need to be very critical in your talk group and time slot assignments to what the sysop wants. Okay? You can get it on both of them on a Brandmeister repeater. Will you survive that conversation is yet to be determined. Okay? It gets you, when that email and phone blows up, the first thing I do is walk over to my computer and I pull up the Brandmeister dashboard for each repeater, and it tells me who did what on where and how long. And that's how I found out. You know, I'm not going to mention name or call. I can tell you exactly who did it, and I think he's already known that he screwed up. That's how I found out this person brought up 3100 just before the big conversation that was stemming from Larry's list. They called my phone and email to blow up. Because nobody could get 3100. They could get Kansas statewide because time slot 1 was locked out. Time slot to talk group is very critical. It is the most important part of creating a channel. Because if it's not right, you're either going to be blacklisted or it ain't going to work. That's all there is to it. Okay? Now, once again, the 2017 added something that's pulled over from Motorola. In-call criteria. You want to put follow-admit criteria. 380s, Connect systems don't have it. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Hey Chuck, on the anytones, do we have to select TDMA?
You know, that's a gray area. Some people have said that anytone does not. They don't know why it's there. I always select TDMA, and I don't know what adaptive TDMA is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So select TDMA on the anytones.
Some of these radios implement part of the standard called interrupt, which essentially means that if you are transmitting and you think you're transmitting, you can actually be interrupted and your radio can be forced back into receive mode and somebody else can take the time slot away from you.
Like if they were a higher priority.
Like a higher priority or emergency.
Chuck, we're not seeing this on this menu.
See
No,
what?
it doesn't,
The in-call criteria is not on this one.
Not
What
every
radio?
has it.
390.
You won't see it on 390. It's only on the 2017 and Motorola's. Okay? That's why I just pay attention, Keith.
Making sure.
Okay, so we've got channel number 1 created. Save it. Click your mouse, click your disk. We're not losing our hard work. Go down to the bottom of the screen. Click the add button to add a second channel. Guess what? We get to do it all over again. Okay? Except this one's going to be the parent. So channel mode is going to be digital. If it's not, 12.5 kilohertz. Don't worry about the timeout timer, because if you're talking on a parrot for 3 minutes, I need to know why. Okay? You really need to cease to melt for talking to yourself that long. Okay, channel name, let's call it to mission parrot. Let's go to receive is 443.1. Transmit is 448.1. What's the admit criteria, folks? Color code? Channel free or always? Color code. So on a repeater, it's color code. Okay? So you want to put that in color code. Don't worry about the check boxes. Contact name. What's contact going to be? We've only got 2 in this radio right now. It's going to be a parrot. So select parrot. Color code is 1, of course, because of the repeater. Guess what? We're going to leave this puppy on time slot numero 1. Okay? We don't care whether you do the parrot on 1 or 2. It's available on both. We prefer 1. But if 1 is busy and you actually have to talk to yourself, you can change the radio and program a channel with channel time slot 2. Okay? I will find you. I will want to know why you have such an intense desire to talk to yourself on time slot 2. Okay? All right. And once again, for those with transmit or in-call criteria, follow admit criteria. Now, what do we do at this point? We just created another channel. What have I got you guys doing so far after we finish something? Save it. Now, here's the fun part. We're going up to the zone channel. Select channel and zones on the left. Hopefully you've relabeled that zone BYRG, correct? This is 2017, Kurt. If you'd shown up on time, you would know.
I know that. The frequency 442 or 443.
443.1.
You got it 442.
Oh, I do?
In the program, yeah.
Fat fingered it, sorry, folks.
I mean, on there you have it as 3, but on here, on your previous program, you had 442.
This is a brand blank code plug. We have 442 and 443.1 repeaters. All right?
We have 443 and
We're building a code plug based on 443, the mission repeater. Okay, so we're not using any pre-programmed. Because we really want to get down to that. I'll pull up Springfield, we'll really have some fun. Okay? All right, so we're going to zone. How many? I hate bringing up 2017. I've got it open. I want to go ahead and move it over. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow this. This is not here, okay? I've got 2 channels available. Available channels right now show mission parent, and in channel A is BYRG. Is that what everybody's pretty much seeing on their 380 screens? Let me walk back and look at your screens as we go around. Okay, you've got it. You've got, yeah. Okay, so, and then you've got both of them available. All right, so in that left column, that left drop-down box selection, 1 or 2 channels available, double-click the left and move them over to the right column. Okay?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You want to highlight here, watch the screen. See how I highlighted mission parent? And then I hit add, and you see how I moved it into channel number A? Okay? So that means that those 2 channels are in that zone. Now, for those of you with the 380s, 390s, you will only have a left and a right column. You won't have 4 columns like I do on the 2017.
So Chuck, on the Anytones, I've got an A channel and a B channel, and I've got Mission in the A channel and the Parrot in the B channel. I thought that was for VHF and UHF.
Now, that's an MD 2017 moniker. The Anytone doesn't care,
Okay,
okay?
so that's fine.
Well, what you want to do though, is you want to do this. And then you get that window.
Yeah, but,
You've already got those two channels in that zone,
yeah, I've got them.
okay?
The one's in A channel, one's in B channel. Should they both be in A channel, or can they be split apart?
You can, on the Anytone, you can split them,
Okay.
okay? Actually, you want to get down to it, you create the zone. You can actually dial up the same zone in both radio, or both channel, A and B, and you can have two different channels with the same zone and monitor at the same time. Okay, so we've done this. Now, what do we do at this point? We made a change. Save it. Now, we're going to do something here that everybody's going, I don't know whether I want to do this yet. We're going to write it to your radios, folks. Who's not talking yet? Is everybody talking to their radios? Tell you this much, Lenovo's suck as computers. I really wish I had bought one. I'll buy an Acer. Okay. Where is my hotspot?
Mine was scratched.
They run those channels into the resident section. So they're both.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of beeping because you probably have wiped out the programming in your radio, or you haven't programmed your radio at all.
It's the date.
I'm waiting for my hotspot to fire up and I want to connect to the dashboard. All right, while this is doing that, let's write this code plug we just created to your radios, folks. Now, first off, before we hit write, who did not save the original programming in the radio yet?
Way back.
Who's willing to raise their hand?
If you did not save your programming, I'm not worried about it because there's nothing I can do if you overwrite it at this point. That's why I asked you to save your programming. So if you have not saved your radio, read it and save it at this point. Okay, if you have regular radio, you have saved it, you have created your code plug. Write the new code plug you just created to your radio. Oh, it's automatically going to be selected when you select one. All right, Jerry's got that software straightened out. Because he knows for a fact that he doesn't want anybody running 25 kilohertz division.
Yeah, it used to be there earlier.
Who has not seen this webpage before? This is the goodie page from Brandmeister. All right, this is the dashboard that everybody hears me talk about.
You have to have a login on this to use it, or?
It would be very advantageous to have a login because the simple fact that, number one, if you ever decide to run GPS, you have to set it up through this page. Okay? If you have a hotspot, you can assign static talk groups to that hotspot through this page. Okay? As you can tell, I am the administrator of 12 repeaters. Only 6 of them are online because a lot of them are tests. Now, I'm bringing up the data page for the backyard repeater group, repeater in Michigan. And here's the one that gets all you guys in trouble. This is the last herd list. So when Kurt's tooling around on 3011, or 311, I know, I can tell from this. KE0CAZ. See in this room. You're on the parrot. Okay, K0FRD. You were just on BYRG. Okay. Knows when it goes blue, it's when you transmit. Now, who has written their radios with the new code plug? Dennis, BYRG, key up. Let's see what happens. Dennis is good. Rod, did you write your radio? All right, let's move on down. Who else is next on this row? Go for it. Where's N0YRL at? Okay, John. All right. Jeff, try it again. Are you getting a low tone?
Yeah.
We'll check in a minute. Next. Jay? On BYRG or Perry. I don't care. It's going to show up. That's interesting. That's from Europe, guys. We're getting popular. Whatever system you got. Kurt's good. N0YRL's good. Joe's good. As you key your radio, watch the screen on either Parrot or BYRG. It'll tell you whether the programming is good. If you do not show on the screen, we need to double check your programming. And don't worry about 212 9412. I don't know who it is, don't care. It could be Dan for all I know. All right, folks, talk to me. Who's not hitting the repeater good? Besides Jeff. Okay, Joe, we know you're good. Okay, you say something to the parrot, you let up, it should talk back exactly what you say. Is there a screen setting in there I can play with?
It's a wheel. Ain't doing nothing.
Well, double check, because it's obviously timed out. You good?
So when that latest change,
Forrest?
I'm not seeing mine.
Still got a filter on you, bro. Because you're in a new program change. So. Oh, it's unprogrammed. On the 2017s, it says unprogrammed because you don't have anything in the B side. Okay?
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll check yours in a second. Are you good or not?
He's kind of using it.
Okay. What about you, Keith? Okay. We've obviously got a few hiccups. That's what this class is for. And guess what? We got a little under an hour. No, we got about an hour to fix it. Okay, Joe, we know you're good. You quickly. KD4HSO. Okay. You're good on that. YRL, you're good on the Parrot. KE0LLM and LMM.
Yeah, I was maybe just playing around with language, it's,
All right,
What's the duration of counting up?
that's interesting if you watch it, because I've actually seen where the timer on Grandmeister has hung up, and I saw a guy who I stand there talking to had been transmitting for 3.5 days. So ignore it. The only good thing about that is I can tell when somebody returns to talk through just to listen. Okay? What?
So I got a question. How come sometimes you display, how come up 00 and then it goes away?
Because you don't have the contact list loaded into it. All right, so who, Mike, you're good, you're on BYRG. Just saw you pop up, right? Okay. John likes the parody, likes to talk to himself a lot. Okay. Okay, who's not talking? Brad's not talking? Jeff, are you talking? Did you get
Yeah,
talking?
I can hear myself on this radio. So.
Okay, I'll go with that, because sometimes, depending on the traffic, since we're pulling this in Grandmeister, it does actually miss calls. Okay? Now, we really wanted to get fancy about this. I can pull up the German site, and it'll tell me a whole different thing. Okay? Jay, did you just key up?
Yes.
Okay, you're good. KD0VXJ is good. KD4HSO, KD0RSX. NI0R, KD0LNN, or NLN. You guys are good. Brad, let's look at your programs.
Okay, I'm looking at it.
Roger, good. I just heard you. Yeah, well, we all heard you. You guys are good? You're all good? Herb? Wanda? Where's your product? You know what? Let me grab my old man on. Okay. Who does not feel comfortable programming a channel and create a code plug? You've just done it, folks. Yes.
In the screen that you're showing right there for Germany, the last column says flags. What is that?
That's some stuff the Germans pulled up. Okay, there's what you get. I ignore them. I'm going to work it up and getting gritty of it. Okay. So we've got DMR channels, transmit, receive, color code, group call context, time slot, very critical. Timer is 180 seconds. Color code. Simplex communications to DMR, you want to set it always, without fail. And like I said, this PowerPoint will be a PDF up on BYRG.net by Monday evening, okay? So if you guys want to take notes, I'm going to go ahead and have it out there available for you.
On a simplex channel, you're outside the repeater, so talking from one to another, and everybody has to have the same setup. Yes, the guy.
That is a gray area that Bill Van and I have discussed. And DMR simplex doesn't play like regular simplex that we're used to. Okay, number one, time slots are assigned by repeaters. Since we're not following repeaters, the contention is that it may not matter which time slot you pick in your program. Okay? I would, if you have a group view, I would try and set them all at the same time slot and do the program yourself. And then you got your talk group of 99 that is normal, quote unquote, simplex channel. Okay? So that's what we're looking at there.
What about if you wanted to use analog?
You got a whole other radio that we ain't even seen yet. I don't know, any tones have that option in the default starter code plug, but I haven't played with it.
I mean, I can set mine to receive the analog channel, but I have no way of.
What is that?
I just went in and.
No, what your radio is it?
Like the 3380. I can receive, but I can't play. Go into the channel and set the analog, not video, and set it to 45 kilohertz. It will receive all day long. But it will not.
I don't know, I've played with part of it. Okay, folks, a couple of notes real quick about naming talk groups and naming channels. You call them whatever the hell you want. I don't care. The number has to be correct on the talk group. The frequency, the color code has to be correct, the time slot has to be correct. You can call BYRG on mission Pink Elephant channel. I don't care on your radio. All I need to know is that you know that what channel you're on. Okay? So there's no de facto talk group naming. Just worry about the number. Brad, did you get it working?
Yes, the TDMA is.
So what's your standard that you use to keep, you don't want to key up the national talk group, so you put national, BYRG national, BYRG Kansas.
We have, on BYRG code plugs I started, Brandmeister has a list of talk groups, okay? Let me show you real quick. And you can get this at any point in time off the Brandmeister page. And there's a list that can be downloaded right here. And I can export that to PDF. As you notice on here real quick, they've added a $31.99 talk group for Hurricane Net. You want to listen to that? What slot does that go on, folks?
1.
You know, Bob, I take back everything I said about you. This is the way that Brandmeister handles their talk groups. Now, Rod and the guys up in North Kansas City didn't like that I had, when I asked for the North Kansas City, Northland areas talk group, that it was North Kansas City area, I was requested to change it to Kansas City North. Being from Kansas, it didn't make me any different, but you guys are kind of finicky.
North Kansas City is a different place.
Well, you know what, I'm from Kansas and God's side of the country, state line, I don't care, okay?
All over the river.
Okay, so I had to change it, so call it what you want in your radio. Just know that the number has to be right, the time slot has to be right, okay? I try to follow Brandmeister's thing, so that I don't have any confusion. Trust me, I'm old and did a lot of drugs in the 80s. It's really easy to get me confused, okay? All right, anyway, back to where I was. Where the hell was I? Okay, you gotta add a channel to a zone. If you don't put that channel in a zone, it doesn't come for you to play. You don't have access to it except in CPS. Once you create a channel, you have to put it in a zone. Not a scan list, in a zone. Now, how many of you guys have heard me on the air on my anytone? Every one of you guys' radios is limited to 16 channels per zone. This one's not. This one gives me 250 channels per zone. That's the way it's going to start rolling these radios out. I have one zone here that has everything on 2 meters analog within 100 miles of Kansas City in one zone. Okay? Same thing on UHF. If I wanted to, I could put every talk group on Brandmeister on one repeater in 3 different zones for over 700 talk groups. The radios are starting to expand out. This thing will handle over 100,000. Tom, I got a question for you later about Contact Manager and 100,000 contacts.
Okay.
From Facebook. I'll pull it up later, okay?
That's a 2017 you're talking about that level?
No, this is the anytone from Connect Systems. Now, 2017, how many zones?
You could have, in each
How many
zone,
channels in a zone?
128.
128.
Two banks of 64 in each zone. Same as an MD 9600.
Okay, so 2017 and 9600 comments or questions. Mr. Wheeler is here. He has gone intensively through that radio. So, kind of direct it to him. All right, you have to add it to a zone. Then and only then will it be accessible for you to use. And we've already done all that. Now, scan list. You're going to open the channel in CPS. How many scan lists can you make in a radio? You can make up to 50. But guess what? They ain't all going to work. The way this software is written, you can only select one scan list per channel. So what do you want if you've got the same channel but you want it on 3 different orientations of scan lists? You write it 3 different ways, but you name it different each time. And for each new scan list, you put in that channel, and in that channel arrangement, you put in that scan list. What am I talking about? Because it's not making any sense, right, folks? So I've got 2 channels right now, Mission BYRG. Here, let me go over here to scan list. I'm going to create a scan list. I'm going to call it BYRG. Okay? I'm going over to Mission BYRG. You see scan list? I'm going to select BYRG. Now watch this. I'm going to add a scan list. Okay? So I now have 2 scan lists in my radio. But I go back to my channel. Do that. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a zone. Scan list. Okay? Now I go over to Mission BYRG channel and I pull the scan list down. I've got 2 options in there, correct? But I only get to choose one. So why make 50 scan lists? Because that channel is only going to be associated with one scan list. Copy the channel, put it under a different name, and select the other scan list that you want it in. Okay? Now, the nice thing about Connect System software is there's a little tick box at the top. Let me open up one of my code plugs that I have here. Okay. Actually, it's concerning on the Connect Systems is concerning the zone. You can put the same channel in multiple zones. Other manufacturers you cannot. Motorola you can. Actually, I'm sorry, that's not true either. You can actually put the channel in as many zones as you want. The scan list is the caveat. A channel is associated with one scan list. All right? So scan lists are the hairy part. Now,
I'm good at copying stuff.
here's my and Tom's favorite subject on DMR radios. Receive groups. Overall, and Van, I'm glad you're here to back us up on this. If you have a receive group with a lot of talk groups in it, what is it? It's a scanner. You ain't turned it off. You're hearing crap that you don't want to hear, that you didn't even know was going to be on that channel. Because it hears everything on that you have in that receive group. So, overall, under that auspice, Tom and I agree, I think, that we're still under the adage that receive groups can be very, very bad, correct?
They can be, and
Yeah, Van, same way, that it's a scanner, it's a pain in the butt. Bill's not his head yet.
You can't turn it off.
Here's the thing though, receive groups in the Titera is your godsend. How many of you have a Titera radio and you have to wait until the actual repeater drops out before you can talk through the repeater? Raise your hands. Come on, let's see a show of hands, folks. How many of you guys have been on a Titera radio talking and you have to wait until all the bars disappear before you get an acknowledgement tone from the repeater? The way around that is receive groups. What am I talking? What the hell is Chuck talking about? You create a receive group. Okay, I'm going to go over here to software again. I'm going to go over to digital receive group. Group list 1. I'm going to relabel that BYRG. I'm going to put contact member as BYRG. I'm going to add a second receive group. I'm going to call that Kansas statewide. All right? I have to have the contact. Or here, let's do this. I'll call this para, because I've already got that contact on. Okay? Why is it not showing up there? Oh, it's because it's a private call. It doesn't like private calls on receive groups. So I have to create a group call, which is Kansas statewide. Group call 3120. Yeah, in other words, folks, I've been doing this way too long. Okay, so I go back over to my second group. I got Kansas statewide. Now, in that receive group, I put Kansas statewide and only Kansas statewide. I create a receive group with only one group call in it for each individual talk group. At that point, I go to my channel selection. Then and only then do I select that. That individual receive group needs to match your transmit contact. Then you do not need to wait for the repeater to disappear. You can start talking as soon as somebody lets up. The early Connect systems are the same way. 700 and 701s. Okay? That is the only time that receive groups are good. Now, what happens if you put the wrong group in there? It ain't going to work. Your meter's going to be going, you're not going to be hearing squat. You'll be hearing it when somebody else brings it up on another talk group. but not the one you want. So you want to be very critical. Once again, folks, this ain't your mom and dad's radio. Okay, we've created a code plug from scratch. We've done exactly what I've desired and making you guys do it yourself. You've rolled your own. Who feels comfortable writing code plugs now? Show of hands. Why do I not have a full house? Okay, did some of you not wear deodorant? You're scared to lift your arms? What's up? Talk to me. What is the problem where you do not feel comfortable writing a code plug? John?
Just repeat the last part that you were talking about with the receivers.
Okay. Overall, if you put a receive group, I'm going to switch my CPS to one of our code plugs. Okay? Why? I'm going to make it simple. We're going to go straight to, all right, here's a good one. I've got, this is the Connect Systems. All right, I've got all these receive groups in my Connect system. Okay? Actually, all my group calls is what I should be saying. Okay? So I come over here, I want to go to this receive group list. Now you notice, on this receive group list, I have no members on my right column. Those are the ones that I have selected. Remember, left is the storage, left is what's available, right is what you want to play with. Okay? That's what you want, that's what your selection is on these columns. Okay? Now, if I want to make a receive group for just DMR Mark worldwide, then it's just got that. That is good. Okay? At that point, I would come up here, down to the bottom, and I would relabel this to the same thing as my name. Okay? But we're going to change it. And here's where it goes bad, is when I start doing this. Now, you see all those receive contacts I just put in my receive group? I can be programmed to listen just on Brandmeister Worldwide on the channel. My transmit contact is Brandmeister Worldwide. My receive contact is every one of these damn things, and you can't turn it off. That's where receive groups are bad, is when you have more than one in there. Make sense, Don?
Especially with a real busy talk group in there. Like
Right, you sure the hell don't want to put 3,100 in every receive group, because you'll never hear what you want to hear. As you can tell, I hate 3,100. Okay? So this is bad. Actually, that's good. That's desired. Okay? So for 20 different channels, or 16 channels, you make 16 receive groups. One for each channel transmit contact that you have. And in that channel, you select that receive group. Then the repeater, I can put the repeater hang time at 10 minutes, and it won't matter to you. It won't matter to me on the Anytone, it won't matter to me on the Motorola. It won't matter to me on the newer Connect systems. But you Titera guys are really going to be pissed off because you can set it down and go eat lunch, come back, and it's still not letting you in. Okay? Getting your receive groups programmed up properly is the way around it. The unfortunate thing that is really sad about this is Titera knows about this firmware bug, and they refuse to do anything about it. Okay? So, Tom and I got an argument on Yahoo, was it?
Yeah, I think somebody, we found this problem about a year and a half ago.
And we put it out on Yahoo,
And
on the MD380 group, and a guy come in there and literally told us we were full of crap. And we didn't know what we were talking about.
We don't.
And then I caught him on USA a couple weeks later, and he apologized to me on the talk group. He said, "I'm sorry, you guys were right. I didn't know what I was talking about." Okay?
There's a real simple reason behind this too. When you push the button on the radio to talk, there's two pieces of information that you're working with. One is who you are. In other words, who is the sender of the transmission? What's your identification number? The other piece is, who are you trying to talk to? Which on the repeater is normally the talk group, BYRG. The problem is that the standards that define DMR, the UPSI standard, defines what's called basically calls that are in progress. And it, like Chuck is talking on the repeater, his call is going out, and the repeater is sending out Chuck's call, but it's also sending out the BYRG, you know, the talk group. And without that information in there with the Tytera, because of their bug, it's not allowing you to join the call that's in progress. It is a bug. When you add that receive group, what you're doing is you're tricking the radio into basically doing what it's supposed to do, which is to allow you to join a call that's in progress on a talk group. So it's just the Tytera stuff that's doing it. The CS800 and 800D do not, and the 750 do not have a problem.
Now, along the lines, if you guys look at the screen right now, I have a comment up there that we need to address. I've done it. Craig is notorious for it. And I love Craig, he's our rock. He's been a friend of ours for 30 years easily. Fast key-ups on the repeater. Folks, there's a thing on the internet called latency. It ain't instant posting. We all know that. DMR network repeaters ain't any different. Please, and I've caught myself doing it and not doing it. We need to be very diligent in this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, then talk. I don't care what language you count in. Please, at least count 2 before you key up. Guys on hotspots. Guys on remote repeater systems. Guys on link repeaters. Hell, we got a delay between Mission and Peculiar. That guys on one repeater can wipe out where the other repeater can't get in. We need to slow down before we pick up and hit the button. You want to slow down on squeezing that pickle. That's all there is to it. Rod and the guys on North Kansas City will tell you that we're down here in Mission, we're faster than hell, aren't we? We're the quickest draw in the West. Okay. This is a personal note I'm going to throw on here because there's been a lot of rumors about my future in DMR. I came back a couple years ago from New Jersey, having played for a year out in San Diego on Fusion and 1.2 gig. I got to New Jersey, I had the radio program with what I thought was all the DMR stuff, and I'm hearing crap come out of the radio. Come to find out it was DMR. I spent a couple months out in New Jersey working for Black and Beach. I come back, I look at Lee and Bob after doing my research and finding out about the 2 conversations on one time, repeater at the same time, the whole 9 yards. I looked at Lee and Bob, the other cohorts behind the backyard repeater group. I said, this crap's cool, we got to try this. Lee had a repeater, we tried it, look where we're at now. I got a room full of people. I had never expected it. I took on a lot to help you guys get up going. I learned how to reprogram it. I wrote the code plugs. I helped build the system out. Actually, 99% of the system that is on in Kansas City is out of my pocket. But I bought it and it's been given to the respective groups. North Kansas City repeater is the property of the Platte County group right now. All the other repeaters are the property of the backyard repeater group. I lay no claim to it. That's how we operated the backyard repeater group. A lot of people heard that I was leaving and stepping back from DMR. Oh my goodness, here we go, another plasma repeater is going to disappear. We got all these radios and money invested. The system is not disappearing. I am not the system. It will remain intact come hell or high water. We put this system on for you, not for us. So if one of us bails, the cart's still going to be there to drive, for the horses to drive, folks. So do not worry about the repeaters. They're not going anywhere. All right? I need to take a break. The incidences happened a couple weeks ago. out and pulled out a chuck that I hadn't seen in 10 years that I don't like seeing. I lost my temper that bad. So I need to take a step back. I need to regroup. I need to take 6 months or a year away from the heavy end of it and find myself again. Allow me to do that and I'll come back fresh. In the meantime, I'm going to be behind the scenes. We're going to keep the system running. I'm just not going to be answering every dog and pony email and phone call that comes along, and trust me, I've gotten them from all over at all hours. I've got to take a step back. Please allow me to do that and continue using the system, and do not worry, it's going to stay there. With that, any questions? What?
Well, I just have a comment. I wasn't getting the permit tone after I did all your programming we just did. And it's because when you set the blank code plug, it doesn't set the talk permit tone to the analog and digital. So if anybody else is not getting the permit tone.
That's right, I forgot. I'm sorry. I got caught, gang got caught on this, on the 9600. You have to select your beeps. I don't care. Craig doesn't like the beeps on the Motorola's. He had me turn them off, but I still need him to have the talk permit tone. Without the talk permit tone, you don't know whether you got the repeater or not. So go in there, into general settings, and turn that indication on, okay? Who did not talk to their radios? Did everybody get talking to their radios? Can everybody read and write their radios? No?
We haven't even been able to get on because the CPS won't install because it's using a DLL file. Chuck, do you know any really good places to get a
Yeah,
DLL?
BYRG.net. What are you looking for, the tech? The MD380, 390 software will run that radio. It doesn't have to be the tech radio. So go to BYRG.net, go to the DMR. Oh no, I take that back.
What radio you got over there?
She's got the tech D500.
Okay, yeah, I don't have the software with me.
Why don't you come up and talk about your software before we get out of here, Tom? We got about a half hour.
Okay.
All right?
Good enough. I got a screen.
You need a computer?
Yeah, they need a computer.
Hey, Chuck, while he's getting set up, I do have a question for you, and I'd like to present it in a hypothetical. You did create 2 talk groups for the North Carolina. So if I want to have my members, one Clay areas.
Place will kill you.
Oh,
Develop red one.
okay, did not understand that.
Okay.
And then you go, that was my, all right, so.
Don't open any picture folders, Tom. Trust me, do not open any picture folders.
Oh, I see. I like that. I want to see those.
No, you don't want to see.
This copy
Plus, once you do set that up.
and then just show me where it's at. The last one that we had. What's
Hold that thought, Dennis. I'm coming right there. No problem. Yeah, let's pull up KF0 and see what's going on.
Okay, just throw it over on this.
Don't open it.
I really want my really. Okay, good.
Just go ahead.
Since I got the right radio on, or the right with that hat on.
All right, you're on the net there. What do you do?
Okay, open up, just open up, just open up. First of all, Tom, N0GSG, and Chuck is the one that got me started in the DMR. He said, come down into the rabbit hole, and Bill and Van, and Jerry, AC0PW, there's a bunch of people were involved in putting the JC rack onto the DMR repeater. And I said, this is really cool because our shit's getting really old and this is new and I get tired of going out to the repeater site when it's 15 below zero and fixing it. So we got the new repeater. And we all bought these Connect Systems 701s, which were, single band VHF, DMR radios, really pretty good radios. And we started trying to dig through and figure out how to do this. Well, this was just a couple of years ago. So I just want to drop a couple seeds for you guys. One of the ones is, don't be afraid to play with the code plugs, but as Chuck has been telling you, every other sentence has been, save your stuff. Because that way you can always go back and you won't be crying. And there is a whole lot of strange settings that they interact in the radios. Now, what I'm going to show you is a tool you can download. It is free, and it will allow you to do some interesting things. For example, in the CPS, when you added a second channel, you had to do that by hand. Like when you added the parrot, you had to go back and add a channel, then you had to type in all the information again. That sounds like the hard way. And I'm lazy ass, and I'm not going to do it the hard way. So let's do this the easy way.
By the way, I took that picture of the moon from New Jersey.
Yeah, I was going to say Chuck has moved the group.
I've got a hell of a camera. You want to see it.
Okay, why is this screen not showing up there? Is this a dual monitor? Okay, there I am over there. Okay, so anyway. This is going to be a very strange. It's very strange because with dual screens, mouse.
Back here too, Tom.
Okay, I see that. Okay, thank you.
I put it in a little easy.
What I can see is it on.
What do you? Oh, wait a second. Oh, I know what happened, Tom. Hang on.
Yeah.
Well,
What I cannot do is I cannot get objects of this desktop now.
Gotta have that magic touch, dude. Come on. We all know I'm touched. What'd you do with my mouse?
It's on the screen.
Oh, don't even go there, bud.
This is mine, an OS that's not allowed in my house. No, your mouse is fine. You're running it all over that, your other desktop. The problem is, the desktop that's showing up there is different.
Yeah, it's an extended desktop. Do that. There, is that gooder?
Yeah, that's more better.
Now where were we?
Okay, we're right where we're supposed to be.
All right.
Okay, the software road basically will allow you to manipulate code plugs, but the first thing is you have to have a code plug. We do not generate the blank code plug in the software, and there's a reason for that. is there's like over 100 different radio variants that are now supported. There's no way I can keep track of what bit gets set in what memory location in 100 different radios, and I don't care to find out. So, if you remember my call sign, what's my call sign? Okay, if you Google that, the first hit that will come up is n0gsg.com, and you can download the software. When you open that up, assuming that it is here, we've got full version, so we're gonna get rid of that.
Hope you didn't.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this the hard way in. So it'll come up as the first one. You can scroll down to the download, which is 2.4 current version. Just save it to your desktop. Come on, save it. Guys, that one's starting.
That software.
Must have virus. Okay, when you open this thing up,
What? What's your problem?
I just downloaded the latest one.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2.4. So when this thing's up and running, basically I'm just going to open up code plug. It exists on Chuck's desktop. Well, I'm glad you asked. Someplace in here, I've got a folder with piles and piles of code plugs. Code plugs that people have sent me for testing purposes. For example, I'm going to take and work with a, this is work with an MD380. Here's a blank MD380 code plug.
Can you read your radio?
Yes. You do that from the CPS.
You can't do it from.
You cannot do it from this. Literally do not do that because there's too many variants of these radios. And the last thing I want is somebody suing me to say I rigged your radio because I did something wrong on my software. So I do not touch the device driver or the radio correctly.
So somewhere you've got a folder on this page, what's that?
I didn't stay away from that, and mainly because I didn't want to interfere with like Chuck and the Johnson County Club as far as distributing code plugs. That I've let that business be the people that run the reviews.
Okay, so then we can't get CPS running, which we can't because it's new guys, and we can't get download from the machines, the radio itself. Where do we get code plugs to use?
Okay, I'll work with you individually, so don't worry. Okay, I'm just going to open this thing up on the desktop here. Okay, which one of these is the simple one? That one? Find out.
Yeah, I'm going.
Now, okay, this is some kind of really complicated code plug. It's got a whole lot of zones in it and so forth. Just to kind of give you a brief idea, when you're working with this software, it's like the CPS. But unlike the CPS, it will look the same no matter what kind of radio you're working with. So if you're working with a Titera or a Connect Systems or whatever, it's gonna work exactly the same. Also, if you're like me, Chuck lent me this MD 2017.
I gave you that in 2017, because
You
we
threw it.
won't go there, Paul. We won't go there.
Okay, now, I did not have a code plug for the 2017. So what I did with the software is I didn't have to write anything from scratch at all. All I did was opened up a blank MD 2017 code plug and told the software to pull all the information in from, you know, my old MD380 code plug that I had. Since it's a dual band, I also told the software to pull everything in from my old Connect Systems VHF code plug. I made a Franken plug. These are things that CPS will not allow you to do. And let's just talk about channels for just a moment.
Tom, we got about 15 minutes there. I've got room till 1:15, so
Okay.
we need to clean up a little, folks.
Okay. Mission.
What are you doing?
There you are. Okay, here's a good example of some things that you can do that are going to make your life easier. For example, suppose that you've got, here is 443.1, TAC 312, talk group on the mission repeaters, okay? You want to add another talk group, okay, on the same repeater. In the CPS, what would the steps be?
Depends on the CPS and radio.
But you would have to tell it to insert a channel, right? Then you would type that information in and do what you want to do. Here, it's easier because I'm just going to copy it. Okay? I copied it to clipboard, Control-C, and I'm going to paste it. It says that exists already, paste it in new channel name, yeah, let's call it my new channel. Down at the end of the list, you've now got that new channel in the code plug, and you can now just, it's basically what it's done is it typed everything for you already. It's already populated it, all you need to do is type in the changes. You can do this, does everybody see what we just did? Which is easier? That is easier. Now, suppose I have two different radios, and I want to move a channel from one radio to another. Open up 2 copies of Contact Manager, have both your code plugs open, copy the channel in one, paste it in the other. You're done. How about zones? You got a zone you really like? Or you want to try to make a Franken zone? Not a problem. Go to zones, copy the zone, paste it as a new zone. Now you've got a copy, and the cool thing about that is, notice it copied all the channels, but what you don't see is, remember all that information that was going with the channels, like the contacts and the group lists and all that? All of that stuff got copied automatically for you, and it got managed correctly. And you can copy zones between radio to radio. So just kind of briefly, there is an easier tool that will let you mess with this, and the price is right, because I know hams like stuff that's the price is right. The price is right, you can download it for free. So-called antivirus, aka POS software that comes with some computers, is going to bitch and moan that, oh, it's like, oh, you're going to get infected. You're not. You're not going to get infected. Your dog will not get pregnant from downloading the software. It's up to you to manage your computer, but I just wanted to let you know, this is available. There is a 40-page documentation that explains everything and everything this thing does. The main idea is play with the stuff. Use the tools. There's lots of different tools out there. Play with the stuff. Don't be afraid to try different settings. Be respectful of systems, especially like on BYRG. On that system, be respectful of, for example, time slots. There's a reason. For example, what time slot should we be using for local talk groups? 2. And that's basically the convention system operators has said. So as you mess with this software, or any other software, do that. But I just wanted to let you see this very briefly. It's not the greatest demonstration, but you can download it for free. It will deal with literally over 100 different kinds of radios at this point. The one I want to get going is the one that Chuck bought, this new Anytone. But Chuck, what's the model of the new radio you've got? It's an Anytone.
You want an actual model number?
Yeah.
Brad?
868 UV.
Alpha Tango Delta 868 UV.
Where'd you get it?
I need to get one.
Connect Systems.
Chuck's got
I need to get one.
Okay, Wanda, I need you to do this, kiddo, for a couple minutes. La 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 la. Connect Systems out of California, $175 ship. I really would love to see Dan start carrying this stuff, but they just can't.
Dan is carrying some Connect System stuff.
The commercial stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have, and they're good radios. They'll work on handbands.
Yeah. So anyway, DMR is cool. So I got this problem that a lot of you guys have got, because I like Fusion, I like analog, I like DMR, I like D-Star. If somebody comes out and they put some big radio that has those modes in them, and it's under $100, I'm gonna buy it.
They don't have so much.
Anyway, any questions? I know this was just kind of super quick.
Won't work with Motorola's or
No.
Hytera, right? Hytera's
Yes, we'll work with those. We will not work with Motorola. Chuck told me, do not touch Motorola because he knew somebody got sued into oblivion by messing with their product. So,
Which, by the way, that guy showed up.